We're back in the 9th installment where we try to find the best wrestler in WWE. We have a spinner wheel with the name of every single wrestler in the company on it. We spin it. We do a blind ranking of 1 through 10, 1 being best, 10 being the worst, and trying not to screw up the order. We always screw up the order. And afterwards, because we inevitably screw it up, we go through and make some modifications to see out of those 10 randomly selected wrestlers, who is the best and who are we going to push on to the final video where we compare them all to see who is the best of the best. Last video, really hotly contended. Kevin Owens went over Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns to join. Let's see if I can get them all. Io Sky, Rhea, who beat out Bianca really narrowly, Liv Morgan, Finn Balor, LA Knight, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre. We're going to see in this video who joins them in the finals. If you like the video, please go down in the comments. Let me know you like it, and let me know your own order for the wrestlers who we see in the video. And while you're down there, leave a like, leave a subscribe, stuff that really does help a new channel like mine to grow. But with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into it by spinning the wheel. So last video, when I was going through at the start, I said, oh, we still got this name left and this name left, and then all of them came up in the video. So I'm not going to jinx myself this time. We're just going to spin and get into it and hopefully only get one or two of the real greats in this video. Starting with Rusev. Rusev is... he can be great. Mainly the only time he's ever displayed any greatness was when he was in AEW, when he was wrestling as Miro. And since coming back to WWE, he hasn't done anything that significant. He's sort of just been doing a bastardized version of the Reclaimer from AEW, and he's pretty much only had his series with Sheamus, which has been okay. Their first match was the best in the series, and they've gotten, they sort of petered off from there. Um, so he definitely has the potential to be the complete package, but whether it's just because he's not being utilized properly or if that doesn't fit within sort of the WWE landscape like it did with AEW, it's just not working. So I'm going to put him at 5. Um, just because I feel like there's so much he could be doing that he's just not. And you've seen greatness from him, and not seeing that in WWE is sort of a bummer. He's very much living down below his potential. Dragon Lee is just incredible. Yeah, like so good in the ring wherever he goes, whether you're watching him wrestle in Mexico when he was in New Japan in their junior heavyweight division, or in WWE. He has really great matches all the time, and he's someone who can bring the best out of any opponent he's with. He's not used to the best of his ability though, as sort of that upper mid card range where he should be in the the IC picture, and every so often move up to the world title picture to face someone like Gunther, to be a challenger who you don't necessarily think is going to win, but you get behind them a lot. He very much has the ability to be one of the top baby faces in WWE, and he is not utilized properly to fulfill that role. But all the talent in the world, really great. One of the best just bell to bell wrestlers in WWE. So I'm going to put him at number 3 because I feel more so than Rusev, even though he hasn't been given opportunities, he is better able to display how great he is every opportunity he's given. And it is because he wrestles a different style, but that's just the way it is. Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's a tricky one for me because I am not as big on Braun Breaker as a lot of people are. Um, I don't like his spear that much. I think that his matches are a lot of time very samey to really be anything significant. And in his new role in the Vision, more often than not, it ends in a DQ, so you can't really get that wrapped up in what he is doing. He's got great charisma. In terms of like character, he's pretty much nailed who he is. Just this aggro testosterone filled jock douche who, like, you love to watch, but you also hate him because you knew people like him in high school and they were just the most arrogant twits you could possibly imagine. So he's really nailed that character beautifully. In the ring, though, I don't feel like he has necessarily mastered the ability to diversify his matches, so you're constantly watching something new and a new experience and tailoring what he does to his different opponents. It very much just feels like every time he wrestles, he has a Braun Breaker match. So I'm gonna put him one below Dragon Lee. I'm gonna put him at 4. Um, people call him the future of the business. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that, but he is very good in the role, and he always does a good job about accentuating himself. Alba Fire. Alba Fire is tough because I feel like she is very much in the same role as Candice LeRae, where legitimately has the talent to be one of the best wrestlers on the roster, but is used in sort of an undercard comedy role. Wrestling as Kaylee Ray um, on the British independent scene, then coming to NXT UK and having some brief runs in NXT. Just fantastic. Like, really, really great. Um, really did a good job about putting forth this sort of maniacal, hard-hitting, twisted character that just never really was displayed on main roster TV when she was in her tag team with Isla Dawn or now as part of the Secret Service. She's so underutilized um, because she could really, really instantly be a top contender in whatever women's division you put her in. So it's a shame I have to rank her so low. I am going to put her at 7. And that's mainly due to her booking and her utilization because she has all the potential to be a top 3 on any list that we put her in. So it's a shame that she's that far down just because she's not properly booked and we can't really put her in that top tier. Roxanne Perez. Um, Another one, similar to Braun Breaker, that a lot of people seem to be high on, that I am not as high on. I feel like Roxanne Perez sort of lives and dies on the quality of her matches. And I just don't love her matches as much as most people. I think that they're oftentimes botchy, a little bit sloppy, and you can understand why. She's very young. She hasn't had that much time in the business, but being in as prominent a position as she is, at the level she is, you need to have a little bit more cohesion in your matches, and she's fine, as a tag wrestler, as a sort of mid to lower card wrestler for United States or IC Championship, fine. Um, in the current role she's in, I can't necessarily see her being a world champion just because she does not click anywhere near the level of an Io Sky or a Bianca or a Rhea. Um, she's just not really on that level in terms of in-ring quality. I am gonna put her. I'm gonna put her at 6. Um, because I can't really put her lower than that as much as I've dogged on her. Mainly the reason that I chose to critique her when she came up was because everyone claims her to be the prodigy, and someone who will run the women's division one day. And while I think she is very, very good, I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment. But that doesn't mean she can't have good matches in the Judgment Day right now. She's really found a good role from a character perspective. Just in ring, she doesn't really do it for me. So I'll put her at number 6. We still got number 1, 2, 8, 9, 10 open. So hopefully we either get someone great or someone really, really low. Kit Wilson. I'm not the biggest Pretty Deadly guy, mainly just because I haven't seen a lot of them or enough of them to really have a full, well-rounded opinion of them. They're obviously very funny on, backstage segments. Um, Very funny in the ring. I've seen them wrestle at house shows. Very, very entertaining. Um, in the ring, when they're on SmackDown, I would describe them more as functional than great. Um, and yeah, they're just a lower card comedy tag team act. Maybe they will eventually find some sort of connection with the crowd to push them past that level. But for right now, I just don't really rate them that highly, especially when they're in a division where you have a lot of really, really great tag teams. Um, they're a flair of personality, which is definitely needed. Um, but they've never really done anything in the ring to astound me. So I'm going to put him at number 9, and that's pretty much just based on what numbers we have available left. Maybe he could be a little bit higher if he was the first pick on the list, but 9 is appropriate based on where we're at right now. Damian Priest. Okay. Okay. I actually like Damian Priest more than most people. I think he's got a great look. I think he's great at promos. When he's in matches, I think he does a really, really great job about um, conveying his emotions and conveying the story beats through facials, through his mannerisms. I feel he's so underrated in that regard. I love watching Damian Priest just sort of act in a match. In terms of in-ring quality, he's very good. I don't know if I would call him great. I've seen him have great matches. Um, and more often than not, I think he is a major component in making a match great. It's not like when he's wrestling Drew or Seth or Gunther that they're drawing greatness out of him. He's very much part of that equation that makes a great match. I'm a big, big fan of Damian Priest. Am I a big enough fan of him to put him at number 1? Not right now. I'm going to put him at number 2 because I think there are names left on this list that do supersede him um, in terms of in ring quality. So maybe we'll stick out for one of those names. But Damian Priest, great wrestler. Really happy to see him on this list. Tony D'Angelo, I'm going to put him at number 8. Um, just because everything I've ever seen out of Tony D'Angelo has been fine. You know, his gimmick as leader of the family was funny for a little bit, but he's been in NXT for like 5 years at this point. So like the gimmick's wearing a little bit thin. Um and in terms of matches, I don't know if I've ever seen him have a great match outside of the matches with Ilya Dragunov. Um I don't really know where Tony D goes in the future. If he keeps this sort of mob inspired gimmick, how far can that sort of really get him before he just ends up becoming generic Italian guy? I'm not sure. I don't really connect with it on any significant level. And anytime I do, it's more just me laughing at how stupid the gimmick is rather than actually enjoying what's being presented to me. So we got number 1 and 10 left. And we're going to Jacob Fatu. Well, he's going to number 1. I'll say that. Jacob's great. Um, really great. I love Jacob Fatu. I think that he is so charismatic. He has this charisma that not a lot of people have. That's really hard to capture. Um, Part of it is because of what he did on the indies as the Samoan Werewolf when he was wrestling like MLW and things like that, and the persona he built for himself. Part of it is his real life background, and then part of it is how good a job WWE have done at maintaining his push and maintaining his character. And more so than that, he can really back it up in the ring. He has really, really great matches. That's something that I would credit to his time on the independent scene prior to coming into WWE, really wrestling on that sort of American hybrid indie style where he can strike, he can do some high flying, he can do brawling, he can be, I don't know if he can be technical. We've never really seen that in WWE. But he is an all rounder great wrestler. So I'm really happy he came up. Um, Happy to put him at number 1 in this blind ranking. We'll see if he stays there at the end of the video. But we only have our number 10 spot left open, so hopefully we get someone perfect. Perfect. Number 10. Easy number 10. The thing that makes me put Natalia in number 10 immediately is not that she is so terrible that she deserves to be in number 10. It's that she's been so boring for so long that, like, her opinion is sort of what I talked about in the previous video with Miz, where you've just been around for so long that when you hear Natalia's music hit, you sort of just, okay, Natalia's coming out. You can't get excited for her. So even when she's doing something new and exciting, like she's trying to do on the indies right now, being Natty Neidhart, you just can't really get invested in it at all. And she's been at it so long, she shouldn't be as boring, as generic, as vanilla as she is. So even when comparing her to, Kit Wilson or Tony D, who we have above her, they're at least like they're new, they're fresh, they're still hungry, trying to do something. Natalia just feels like such a part of the furniture, and she has for well over a decade at this point. So she easily finds herself to number 10. She's fine, she's passable, but being in the business as long as she has, um, you need a little bit higher than that. So here's what we have. Bottom three, Natalia at 10, Kit Wilson at 9, Tony D at 8. I'm happy with those three, I believe. We'll keep them there. Then we have Alba Fire, Roxanne Perez, Rusev, Braun Breaker, and Dragon Lee. I'm actually happy with that run as well. I feel like Alba Fire could be much higher, just not properly booked, so you don't get to see an exhibition of her skills on a weekly basis. Roxanne Perez, like I said, never really connected in the ring for me. Rusev, absolutely fantastic, just not really doing anything interesting right now. Braun Breaker, I'm not as high as him as most people, and Dragon Lee, absolutely phenomenal in the ring. So we have our top two, Damian Priest and Jacob Fatu. Damian currently at 2, Jacob at 1. Once again, I'm happy with that order. I love Damian Priest. I feel like he's fantastic, and he gets a lot of hate, undeservedly in my opinion, because he can have great matches. They don't always click. Like when he's wrestling on TV, it can be a little bit hit or miss, but when he's on the pay-per-view scene, great stuff, great mannerisms, good character work. Really like Damian Priest, but can't really compete with Jacob Fatu. Jacob just has this natural energy about him that is so unique to just Jacob Fatu, and in my opinion, um, has better matches on a regular basis than Damian Priest. So I'm happy. I'm very happy to put Jacob Fatu at number 1, and he is moving on to the finals. The competition for the finals is really ramping up as Jacob Fatu moves on to the finals. He's facing Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, LA Knight, Finn Balor, Rhea, Io, Liv, and Kevin Owens from the last video. So we will see how he fares once he gets into the final. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Should I have put Jacob in the finals over Damian Priest, over Braun Breaker, over Dragon Lee, over Roxanne Perez? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And while you're there, let me know your own lineup for this video. Would you have done your order differently from me? Leave a like, leave a subscribe, the stuff that really does help a new channel like mine to grow. We got a couple more parts to come out. We still have about 40 names left on the list, so we got another 4 parts before we get to our finals. I hope you guys stick along for the ride. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I have been Isaiah from Hot Tag Wrestling, and I will see you next time.